People often talk about the comfort zone as if it were a place. We think it's a way of seeing the world. It's the quiet voice that tells you, stay where you know how things work. And to be honest, there's nothing wrong with that. Our minds were never designed to chase uncertainty. They were designed to survive it. That's why familiarity feels so reassuring. Not because it's always making us happier, but because it keeps asking very little from us. The strange thing is that, after a while, what once protected us can slowly become the thing that keeps us still. And that's when an uncomfortable question appears. What if the life you're looking for can't be found in the places you've already mastered? Maybe that's why traveling has always fascinated us. Not because it takes us somewhere else, but because, almost without asking for permission, it quietly removes the certainty we normally depend on. Suddenly, you can't rely on habit anymore. The rules and the rhythm are different, and even the simplest things require your attention again. At first, it feels exhausting. Then something begins to happen. You realize that uncertainty isn't trying to stop you. It's asking you to become more present. And presence has a curious effect. It makes you notice things that routine had quietly made invisible. We've become used to thinking that growth comes from doing extraordinary things. We're not sure that's true. Most of the time, growth begins in much smaller moments. The moment you stop pretending to have everything under control. Because the moment you stop protecting the image you have of yourself, you finally leave room for a new version to appear. Maybe that's why learning a different language can feel so vulnerable. It has very little to do with grammar. It has everything to do with accepting that, for a while, you'll sound like someone who doesn't know what they're doing. And strangely enough, that's exactly how every meaningful learning process begins. Nature teaches the same lesson. Not by giving answers, by taking distractions away. A forest doesn't expect anything from you. It doesn't reward productivity. It doesn't care how efficient you've been today. It simply invites you to keep walking. And after a while, you notice something surprising. The world hasn't become quieter. You have. For the first time in days, or maybe weeks, your attention isn't being pulled in 100 different directions. It's finally resting where it has always belonged, in the present moment. Perhaps that's why we often leave nature feeling lighter, not because the forest changed us overnight, because for a little while, it allowed us to stop resisting change. The same thing happens when we meet people whose lives are different from ours. It's easy to believe our way of living is simply the way, until someone else shows us another possibility. Not by trying to convince us, simply by living differently. That's when travel becomes much more than movement. It becomes perspective. And perspective has a quiet way of transforming us. Not all at once, but one conversation at a time, one shared meal at a time, one unexpected encounter at a time. Maybe leaving your comfort zone has never really been about seeking discomfort. Maybe discomfort was never the goal. Growth, connection, and curiosity was. The discomfort simply happens to be the price we pay for meeting a version of ourselves we haven't met yet. At X Peaks, that's what we believe every meaningful journey offers. Not the promise that you'll come back different, but the opportunity. Because transformation is never something a destination gives you. It begins much earlier. It begins the moment you decide that certainty is no longer the most important thing you're looking for. And perhaps that's the greatest gift you can ever give yourself.